Meditations on the Abyss opens at night, station time, with Delenn making an excuse to slip away from Sheridan, claiming she's going to get papers. Unless they're cigarette papers, the fact we see her in a seedy club says that was a lie. She tries to find a nondescript spot, but a human hits on her and won't take piss off for an answer.
I will only ask once.
Good. I'll save us time later. Look, hon, I'm here for the duration. Get used to it. Whether you like it or not, I'm the face you're going to be waking up to in the morning. You got that?
Perhaps he should have "I deserve to be punched in the face" tattooed on his forehead in case this dialogue is too subtle. She snaps his finger instead. His middle one, too. Now he can't do any driving. Still refusing to accept this, he pursues and gets beaten up. It's hard to tell because she's wearing a hooded cloak, and a hooded cloak beats up the guy, but it turns out it's not Delenn that's doing this, it's Lenier. Always good to visit home and open up a can of whoop-ass. After the titles, Lenier naturally expresses his confusion about this clandestine meeting, so she explains about what they learned about the Centauri. But these are only suspicions, not the kind of ironclad proof that you need for a formal accusation, especially of a major power. She wants Lenier to go see what he can find, since he understands the Centauri as well as she does, but it's to be a secret. After the death of Marcus, Sheridan is going to want to avoid endangering someone that Delenn is close to.
You will need to protect me from anything that might happen to you.
I think, in that respect, he does not know you as well as he should.
He knows me, but he also loves me. And sometimes the one gets in the way of the other.
Bill Mummy's portrayal here is wonderful in its subtext, using the clandestine meeting, the intimacy of it, to allow for Lenier to show more of what it is he's trying to smother and what he wants to embrace. He's going to be assigned to a White Star on a training mission, but to use it surreptitiously to keep an eye on things for Centauri shenanigans. When he indicates he's going to rush off, she naturally wants him to stay for a little while, but he shares what happened on the Day of the Dead, about how Morden appeared and said that one day he'd betray the Rangers. The implication of his fear is that it's his unrequited love for Delenn that is going to lead him to it. Hence his conflicted attitude. His quiet jealousy prompts him to cast aspersions on Sheridan as Delenn's husband, and yet he is ashamed of that and fears what it will lead him to do. As for Londo,
The finger.
Baker, what is all this? Stocking up supplies for the end of the universe?
his assistant is not in quite the same moral quandary as Lenier. It's even worse than it seems. Veer is stocking up because while Londo has been gone, he's been tempted to eat at the fast food restaurant in Brown Sector, which tastes great, but isn't compatible with our digestive system. So it's undignified that he's eating there, and even more undignified that he's an involuntary bulimic. But that's interrupted by Londo's magic wand picking up a Drazi bugging device in the bottom of the grocery bag. This is a very serious matter.
You know that the female of their species will gladly mate with any other species in the universe to avoid the males of their own kind? Take the wife of the Drazi ambassador, for example.
Hey! Riot!
After spending an afternoon of passion with her, the game ambassador told me the most amazing stories. Yes, you know that one day he actually... Oops.
After having had the chance to live in their heads for a while, Londo gets down to business. Veer is going to take over as ambassador once Londo becomes emperor. So he's going to have to get his shit together and stop eating at that fast food place. On the White Star, Lenier meets Montoya, the captain of this training run, and he meets New Guy, whose name is New Guy. I could pay more attention, but there's something far more important.
He says that my new prosthetic eye is finally in.
Always good to have a matching set, I say. The Drazi ambassador is here because they were attacked again, and they think Sheridan knows who did it. What's more, they think it was the Centauri, but that Sheridan is covering it up because he can't afford to lose them. Well, to make that more awkward, Londo shows up. He's a little annoyed he wasn't invited, but he's more concerned about exposing the unconscionable bugging of his quarters. And of course, talking more shit about this guy's wife. Multitasking. Gotta master that when you're an emperor. Back on the Maria, the unofficial nickname of that White Star, New Guy tells Lenier that they're to do some scouting when they arrive, but with limited instructions. Lenier explains the rationale for that. By doing so, it encourages initiative to help them learn to be less rigid and more flexible. On a related topic, Dr. Franklin yanks Jakar's eye out. Luckily, with the color coding, he picks the right one. Incidentally, the effect is quite good. I mean, we know this is a false head, but it's probably one of the most convincing false heads I've ever seen. Helped by the fact that, Jakar is so covered in makeup, of course. After discussing Jakar's book a little, he's still miffed by the fact that it's out there and that every copy has Garibaldi's coffee stain in it. But he's nevertheless excited about the results here. His new eye looks great, and he agrees that Franklin can come and listen to his talks.
As you wish. You have given me back my sight. The least I can do in return is share a little of my confusion. Thank you again.
One of the great things about Babylon 5 is how it allowed two character actors normally confined to specific archetypes to have such powerful evolution. You truly appreciate the range that he and Jurassic have with scenes like this. Meanwhile, the Maria has arrived and the mission begins, only seems that the life support reading had an error because it drops down to just 1 hour left after they checked it before departing. What's worse, the Maria takes off, presumably to answer some kind of disaster and leaving them to their mission, unaware that by the time they get back, these two will likely have run out of air. And it's a little known fact, but they need that to live. So Lenier says they should try to meditate and conserve air that way. Draw it out. Think deeply about something.
What is truth? And what is God?
Hey, that works. Got it in one. Jakar gives a deep discussion of how, essentially, what we think of as God is a consequence of the search for God. Sort of a quantum God. The unstated outcome of Jakar's evolution is a commentary on what hatred costs us. Jakar spent his whole life consumed by his hatred for the Centauri, until finally he accepted he needed to move beyond that. And once that happened, Jakar was revealed as a philosopher, teacher, a once-in-a-generation mind with insights that will redefine understanding and perhaps even usher in an age of enlightenment. Jakar is an object lesson for us. Hatred, no matter how much we may feel is justified, is not power, it's a burden, weighing us down so we cannot rise up to our fullest potential. Of course, existential fear is a pretty heavy emotion, which is why New Guy starts to panic when his air is down to almost nothing. He starts to fly off, only for the Maria to arrive at that moment. Seems this was all just a test, to see how they would react to being left behind and facing death. The debriefing is,
You are weak. You are foolish. And now you will go away or I will swat you.
well, not that bad, but pretty close. Well, there's only one thing to do when you get called out like Veer was.
Something I can do for you, Veer?
No, I just need to borrow this for a minute. I'll be right back.
I don't know, risky move there, Veer. If you bring a weapon and they call your bluff, then all you've done... Well, never mind then. He's not here to kill him or even get answers, just to make the point. He is not someone to screw with. And neither is the captain of the Maria. He wants the 4 trainees to fly out into a newly formed asteroid field. It's good and dense. Out there are these little beacons that they need to find and shoot. You need to get 10. Problem being, there's only 39. Someone's going to fail. My money would be on New Guy, but I think I'm supposed to think that. JMS is trying to force a card on me with that one.
Findel? He knows I'm going to fail.
It does seem kind of...
You think I'm going to fail?
Now you're just embarrassing yourself, New Guy. Lenier argues that if he joined for the wrong reasons, out of obligation, then he probably isn't suited to be a ranger. Well, he seems to agree in his actions, if not his words, because while they're out there, he switches off comms and takes manual control, aiming straight at an asteroid. He's realized that he doesn't belong here, and rather than go home in disgrace, he thought he'd make a large crater instead. Lenier saves him, but has to fire on him to do it. While getting chewed out, Lenier lies to help New Guy save face, saying his ship was malfunctioning. Firing at random, he does everything but blame gremlins. Well, the captain wasn't born yesterday, so he has new guy's assignment. You're going to work at the recruitment headquarters from now on, as someone whose job it is to ensure that everyone who signs up to be a ranger does so for the right reasons. And tells Lenier essentially, don't bullshit a bullshitter. In the coda, Sheridan, Delenn, Zach, and Franklin have dinner and talk about Veer losing it with Adrazi, which raises the question of whether the bug would have done any good anyway. I mean, it presumes that Londo knows what's going on, but nobody thinks that that's true. Which is actually worrying in itself, because it means that this is coming from above him. And that's just the Emperor. It'll be a tough challenge, seeing if their information network can peer to the very top. Garibaldi should be on top of that, though.
Show me the way to go home. I'm tired and I want to go to bed.
Oh, even better, he's gotten to the bottom of it. I give Meditations on the Abyss a recommended, even though this isn't of particular importance. It's setting up the board, but that's about all. Yet that's not what matters. What's great about this episode is seeing the characters coming to life in the quiet moments. B5 is a very theatrical show in many of its aspects, but the subtleties of this episode are what impress me. And Jakar's lesson about truth and God is an intriguing idea delivered well. I don't care if I'm boring you at this point, I just can't stop saying it. Turning a character actor who plays villains into a prophet was visionary. Katsoulis shows what mastery of craft he has in this role. Who could have imagined, as we saw him riling up people in near revolt in Season 1, that this was the long game? The contents of the episode are fine, but the capacity to make those small moments alive shows the talent involved in making this show.
All hail the Overlord! All hail the Overlord!